Welcome to Entry Point Faith. Join us each week to discover fresh meaning in the world and find faith your way. Now, here is Pastor Nancy Lafferty.
Now, many of us have had a feeling of deja vu, that eerie feeling that we have experienced a place or a situation before, while also knowing that that couldn't possibly be the case because we have never been there before or we have never done that thing before. Deja vu is a French phrase that translates to already seen. Research indicates that about 2/3 of us experience at least one deja vu experience in our lifetime. Now, the phrase deja vu was coined in 1876 by the French philosopher Émile Bourac, and the experience seems to occur more often in young people. So people actually first experience a deja vu feeling at the age of about 6 or 7. And it happens most often between the ages of 15 and 25. Now, interestingly, there are several other forms of this experience, each with its own label and each in French. So, déjà senti is the feeling of having smelled something before. Like when we go back inside a school building and we are hit with that smell of school, a mixture of sweat and cafeteria food and books and lockers. Déjà entendu is a feeling of having heard something before, like when we're trying to identify a musical phrase that we're hearing or a conversation that we once heard. Now, I'm going to give you a little secret. When Nancy Lurch plays for the prayer, she will often slide in a tune, and I literally just now sat there going, what is she playing? What is that? What is she doing? So there's a little contest for you if you're looking for something to do while people are praying. You can listen to her song, to her music, and then go up, and we'll make that a little contest. We'll call it the Nancy Lurch contest. But that happens all the time. Or you're talking to someone and you say, oh, you know, what she said to me, she said, oh, I don't remember what she said. But it meant something at the time, right? So presque vu is a feeling of being on the verge of an epiphany or having a word or a phrase on the tip of our tongue, but we can't quite find it, such as, oh, what's that guy's name? I think it begins with a W. No, he's from Wisconsin. His name is Bob. So we get all things, it's the brain. We get things mixed up. And then ultimately, jamais vu is a feeling of newness for something that ought to be familiar. It's as though, and this happens, again, it's a break in the circuits. All of a sudden, we feel like we just got here, we just landed on Earth, and we've encountered an object for the first time, we think, that we should know how to use, but it's foreign to us. All of these phrases are efforts to try to describe certain things that happen in our brains, in our memories, and despite many years of research and study, we don't really have any clear explanation for why these things happen, why we have these sensations. Now, I suspect that part of the elusive nature of these phenomena is due to the difficulty of isolating that experience in a research lab. How are you going to trigger a déjà vu feeling in an isolated research lab? But the research that we do have suggests that these experiences are caused by a glitch in the brain. It is a misfiring in our brain. However, in the past 10 years, researchers have begun using virtual reality as an effort to trigger the feeling of déjà vu and déjà entendu, and they're actually getting some results, but nothing groundbreaking to report just yet. But standing here today, for you sitting there today, it is not just a feeling of déjà vu. As Jody said, it is a flood of memories that come back to us upon walking into this place. I recall the very first time Marcy and I walked here, sat down, and attended our very first Entry Point service in 2016 in June. I fell in love with the feeling of acceptance and the lack of judgment that this faith community offers. And of course, I fell in love with the band. Marcy and I knew when we had finished that service that we had definitely found our new church home, and it has remained that way, of course, ever since. It was here that we met and sat with several people, unfortunately, who are no longer with us, either because they have moved on to another faith community or they have passed away. This place is filled with memories for me, for you, for all of us. And if you are new to this place, then you have a chance to make new memories here. If I'm honest, today gives me a little bit of a sense of closure. Back in March 2020, when the world shut down, we were told to stay home. We couldn't come back here. We didn't know that March 8th, 2020, would be our last service in this space. Eventually, we moved out, and everyone went on with the pandemic, and today, we are back. Yes, things look different, and we're still working some things out. But there is a beautiful sense of completion that people don't always get when we are surprised to learn in hindsight that we experienced something for the last time, and we didn't even know it. It's kind of like raising kids and recognizing that there's a last time for things with your child, but we never know it. The last time we drop them off at school, the last time they crawl out of bed and come into our room, the last time we go to that high school sporting event. And if there's nothing else that we learned 3 years ago, we learned that last times can happen without warning. So in order to live well, we must make beautiful memories. As many of us are in our senior years, our memories matter a great deal to us. Meek Wiking, author of a book called The Art of Making Memories, states, "Happy memories are essential to our mental health." Wiking goes on to write that when we are young, everything is new. So we're doing so many things for the first time, and we form really strong memories of those first-time experiences. But as we get older, we have to work harder to turn events into memories and to benefit from their happiness-inducing qualities. Even in the Bible, we are reminded that as time passes, nothing is new anymore. In Ecclesiastes, we find these words, "What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun." So we need to take a few moments today and investigate how we can create happy memories that will last a lifetime. The first thing we need to do is create moments of elevation. Moments of elevation are experiences that rise above the routine. They make us feel engaged. They make us feel joyful or amazed or motivated. Looking at the Grand Canyon is a moment of elevation. Competing in a sporting event instead of watching one is a moment of elevation. Taking a spontaneous road trip is a moment of elevation. Engaging our senses by attending a concert or a performance or eating a great meal is a moment of elevation, and that's way better than just sitting on the couch. That's just a repeated déjà vu experience. We should strive for novelty. Novelty leads to memories. We should seek positive randomness by mixing things up. New food, new people, a new route home. We should throw a tailgate party for no reason except that we can. As we get older, we experience less and less novelty, so we need to make decisions to avoid that. Secondly, we should celebrate moments of pride. Just as I said a couple of weeks ago, we should celebrate everything. When we celebrate moments of pride, we commemorate achievements. Beyond celebrating the obvious, birthdays and graduations and weddings, we can celebrate silly milestones with our friends or our family members. Those kinds of celebrations will stick with us longer than almost anything. Think back a second to a time someone surprised you. Surprised you with a birthday party, surprised you with a party, surprised you with a card, surprised you. Those surprises stick in our mind far more than the routine. And finally, in order to build really happy memories, we need to build moments of connection. We have to do things with people, real people, not people on a screen. Great memories involve other people. Relationships matter. New people, old places. Or old people, new routine. I don't mean old people. I meant the people that you already know. Nobody's old here. We need to do stuff with different groups of people. Or go on a different hike every week, but with the same friend. We need to have times, that bond us with others where we feel some kind of warm, fuzzy feeling. Those are the moments when some of the most powerful memories are formed. Research has shown that people draw closer together when they struggle together. Now, if that's the case, our faith community is as close as blood brothers and sisters. But in all honesty, we come here sometimes, often, perhaps always, because this is a place of connection for us. Research shows that if we have one connection point a week, we are mentally and physically healthier. One time to get dressed and leave our house and go with people and go be among human beings and then go back home. If we go out twice a week or 3 times a week, we're even that much healthier. So that's why the pandemic bothered us a great deal. It said to us, don't go, don't connect. We're still emerging from that. Viking writes, we remember emotional stuff. It's not just happiness that makes things memorable, but all of the emotions. So sometimes we need to step out of our comfort zone and try something new. Maybe it scares us. We'll probably remember that. Viking also reminds us that we need to dust off our memories from time to time by reliving the experience, either by ourselves or with the people that we shared the experience with. The more we think about it and talk about it, the more likely it will be stored in our long-term memory bank. And when we have an active memory bank, we can comfort ourselves with our recollections. My friends, let's use this odd moment of returning to this place as a good trigger to help us to decide to create memories about the good moments in our lives. If we can focus on doing that, we stand a much greater chance of having excellent, beautiful, loving memories to reflect on in the days to come. Amen.
Thanks for listening in on this week's discussion on Entry Point Faith. You can join the Entry Point Faith community in person every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. at Conner Prairie in Fishers, Indiana. For more information and a transcript of Nancy's messages, visit entrypointonline.org. Entry Point Faith is brought to you in partnership with mypodcast.media.